Hello everyone, it's Eon here. I'm back for June 2024 3D print and review. We're going to split this up into fantasy and sci-fi or grimdark. So this is the fantasy video, as you can obviously tell from the caption here. And I'm doing that on the suggestion of one of my commenters, Stroh's Lights. So I appreciate that. Shout out. We'll see if you like it. I'm not 100% sold on the font here, so I'll probably be experimenting with that as we go through the months. But since it's already June 24th as I'm recording this, and I'm a bit behind in getting this out, let me go ahead and get started. So we're going to start with Artisan's Guild, and Artisan's Guild is doing the Fighters Guild this month, I believe. They're re-releasing some things as well. So we see the Vanguard Wyvern Rider in multiple poses. We can get it with a person or not. We have Wyvern Rider C. We have Genevieve on Tempest, the Celestial Steed, which is a Pegasus / unicorn. Not sure what the word is for both of those together. And we have the Vanguard Fighters, and they come in an alternative version as well. Then we have the Mordraxix, the Wyvern Queen, and we have Battle Mage Matija, which I believe is the person riding on the back of the Wyvern Queen. So looks pretty much like the same character to me. But that's Artisan Guild, always very characterful characters, highly detailed, very nice miniatures. I'm always impressed by what they do. Archvillain Games releases both fantasy and sci-fi each month. Their fantasy this release, and I apologize for the graphic here, so we'll click off this quickly, is Stoa Mortis, the Undying Academy. First off, the bestiary, we have Ural, the Eternal Archivist. Very characterful artwork there. I'm not exactly sure what all's going on. I feel like we're deep in a cave with the stalactites and stuff. I'm not sure, but yeah, is that wax? I'm not sure. Anyway, we'll move on. Anacrylon, the Archon of Toletus, we see over here on the right. Here we have El Hiosk, the Record Keeper. Archvillain usually gives you about 4 sculpts per character concept. So here we have a Fell Thought Abstract. Very unique names. I always think Archvillain does a good job with unique names. These are the Dark Spell Academics. Again, 4 variants of that. Here we see the Archvillain Society, which is a character. We have Nidalus with Deathgorger, and over here on the right we have Onocratolus, the Bibliocarian. From the Archvillain Society, we see Yal Yilmarer, the Blade Whirler, and Relander Strix, a Beguiler. We have 4 versions of the Biblio Mortis. We have the Dark Spell Lieutenant. Now, rather than me just doing 4 on one screen, to try to get a little bit better quality, let's try doing 2 and 2. Tell me in the comments if you prefer one way or the other, if you'd rather see them all at once, or rather see them 2 and 2. Here we have the Dark Spell Militia 1 and 2. And here's 3 and 4. So a little bit more of a battle mage, I suppose. And that's it for Archvillain Games fantasy collection this month. Seems like we go a lot faster when we don't combine the 2 factions here. Because again, if you want to see the sci-fi, go to the sci-fi. Next up, we have Cast and Play, who's been around for a while and is always very prolific and very characterful as well. They have a very unique style to themselves. I'm not sure how I would describe it. They give you a throwback every month, so if you missed some of their previous miniatures, you get a few of them essentially for free, if you think of it that way. And this month is the Arcane Order, So let's zoom in a little bit and see these images in a little bit better quality. So here we have Aurelia, the Moonlight Witch, in 2 different poses, and Zephyra, the Wind Sorceress. Again, 2 different poses. We have Wind Elementals. We have 3 different versions, each of which with a unique name. And we have Isolde, the Ice and Snow Enchantress. Kind of worried about that ice ball she's making. I'm afraid she's going to let it go. Lilith, the Eternal Night Necromancer. Again, 2 poses, and we have 4 different necromancy minions, some various skeletons, and some pretty bulky plate armor. Here we have Evangeline, the Beast Charmer, and I suppose these are the beasts that she can charm, and very, very unique looking beasts. I like them. We have Celeste, a stellar astrologer. I wonder if she just knew that was what she had to do with that name. And then we have Morgana, a shadow alchemist. Seems like if you're named Morgana or Lilith, you're going to be something of more of the dark arts. Here we have some alchemy lab helpers, which are cyclopses, which I find to be kind of weird because I always thought cyclopses were supposed to be more like giants, but maybe these are more miniature sized cyclopses, some sort of minion of sorts. And over here on the right, we can see the various astral bases that they have released for this month. So that kind of brings us to the end of Cast and Play. Lots of different characters dependent on what it is that you're interested in. All right, everybody, buckle in. We got 93 miniatures to go through. Epic Miniatures release every month is epic. They do 2 packs a month. Each pack alone, in my humble opinion, is worth the price of admission, but they do 2 of them. First up, we have the Safari Tour. So we see a bunch of different Safari buildings that you can print out and add to your collection for terrain and such. We have Safari Merchant Gear and Safari Scatter. So you need some trees, you need some totems, you need some tiki poles, totems. You've got it. They're going to provide. Then we have the River Goddess Avatar. Comes in 3 different poses, and Epic usually does 3 poses, sometimes more, sometimes less, depending on what it is they're doing. We have the Water Myrmidons. Again, 3 different poses. The Soul Magician. Don't you dare disrespect him. The Soul Magician is said to be in a pact with a dark god. He can summon ghosts and spirits to fight for him. And then a miniature I don't think anybody has ever said, man, I need that. It's the Giraffe Exoskeleton in 3 different poses. Has evolved an exoskeleton that helps protect it from dangerous predators. Glad it's an exoskeleton. I was thinking it was almost inside out. Here we have a Lion Huntress. Famous huntress known for hunting lions, as you can tell from her headgear. And then we have the Safari Elephant, and I just want to take a moment to say that is in my opinion, a beautiful elephant. This miniature alone is probably nearly worth the price of admission. It's just a very nice looking miniature. If you want an elephant, you need an elephant, you have an elephant. You want an elephant that is rearing up, you have that. You want an elephant that can be used as a mount for war, you have that as well. Now granted, it has nothing on the Oliphant from Lord of the Rings, but here we have just a very nice looking elephant. Dragon Blood Shamaness is getting her power from the blood of dragons. She can infuse other members of her tribe. So we're going to go slightly out of order of Epic. This is their Dragon Blood Warrior. So this is one of her tribe warriors that can get his power from the Shamaness. So if you're following the numbers, they're not going to line up exactly right. Sorry about that. Then we have a vulture. Giant vulture. Some areas of the world, they grow as big as small houses. I am a bit surprised to see the vultures grabbing a fish from the water, because I thought they were mostly 8 carrion, but these are giant vultures, so what am I to know? We have the Beast Folk tribe. You can encounter the Beast Folk in uncharted lands. Not exactly sure what beast it is that they are part of, but I think it's a good reference. Here we have a Safari Fighter player character in 3 different poses. This is a fighter, it can be used as a player character. And here we have a Savannah Troll, a rare variety of a troll, more intelligent than the troll cousins, can use magic and tame animals. Now the animals that we have here, I'm not exactly sure what this animal is called, but I'm gonna be honest with y'all, I'm kind of getting Stranger Things vibes. I need to go back and rewatch that this summer, because they're gonna be doing the last season before long, right? I know there's a bunch of you out there that love mimics. Y'all are weird people, in my humble opinion. But here we have a mimic drum and a mimic cauldron. So if you have a thing for mimics, there's your vibe. Here we have a tribe green witch. She's been expelled by her tribe for using black magic. Her skin slowly turns green, indicating her transformation into a green hag. And then the final part of pack 1 is a dry, I'm gonna mispronounce this, Catapeblus. It's outside of its natural wet habitat and neglected to drink enough water. Looks very sad. Looks like from Labyrinth. I cannot think of his name, but the head is definitely giving me vibes there, now that I'm thinking of that. Sorry, I do a lot of this off the top of my head, believe it or not. Yeah, we can tell, right? Anyway, update number 2, a vampire invasion. You thought we were going to be safe until October, but no, here come in June, we're doing vampire invasion. Here's a vampire countess. Greater Vampire has her own castle. Here we have blood spawn, which are servants of the vampiric countess. 3 different poses for these. Like crazy fairies, in my opinion. Bat folk, they are not vampires, but they also need blood to survive. They prefer cattle over humans, though. And up next, we have a golem I've never heard of before called a candle wax golem. And it's a gift from the vampire lord to the vampiric countess for her 500th birthday. And it captures intruders in wax and guards her halls. And this is actually makes a lot of sense, in my opinion. I am curious. To me, these look like these are a giant miniature, but I wonder if they would actually be like maybe 2 feet tall each. You know, the size of like an actual candle. And I think that would make, I think it makes perfect sense either way, but probably more so to be small. I'm not sure though. It says base size large, but I feel like these would be better off as a smaller miniature, as a minion basically. Then we have a torch knight, because vampires aren't going to have castles in their windows in their castles, excuse me, so they need a way to have light. And so we have these torch knights. Very unique miniatures. I have to give Epic, they'll go through and give you something that you need every day, like this bat swarm, and then they'll give you something that is completely, totally them, and nothing else. Here we have a bunch of vampire armies, and so we have a bunch of vampires here. We're just going to go through 2 at a time to show you off their details. And you need vampires if you're going to have an army of vampires, and so there's just lots of options here. Any of these would be great for any type of miniature agnostics game that requires vampires. We have one with a scythe. We have like an assassin sort of vampire. Lots of different things. Here we have, now they call it a ghoul classic, but it's just a classic ghoul, just a common character that there's a good chance a necromancer, a vampire might encounter. Here's 3 different poses of those. Fits the bill pretty well, in my opinion. And then here's one of those other figures that I don't ever recall hearing of anywhere else. This is an armored Nightwalker that apparently comes from the Plane of Shadows. I don't recall ever seeing this anywhere else, but there it is. Here we have a Great Vampire, which is, kind of getting Man-Bat vibes. But let's look at that coffin. I wanted to highlight that a little bit. Notice they give you the empty coffin, and you can have it as either the bat without the wings that fits in there. You can have it with the wings, and the wings are wrapped around him, and they all fit inside that that coffin, excuse me. Then you can put a cover on the top of the coffin. So a lot of options out there from Epic Miniatures. Here we have a vampiric lady, one of the very rare true vampires. She can drink the blood of the entire village in an instant. And she's kind of attractive until you start looking at her a little bit too detailed. Her legs are a little bit different. And then this guy, this reminds me of 3rd edition D&D back in the early 2000s, when everybody was taking everything and kind of mix-matching them around. This is a troll vampire lord. It's a troll vampire. His troll blood gives him unbelievable regenerative abilities, not that vampires don't already have that. He is very dangerous. Some say he only fears sunlight, and I would say rightfully so. I have no words. I'm sorry for pausing there for so long. Here we have a tiefling maid, captured a long time ago, favorite maid of the vampiric countess. Here we have a shadow hunter. Monster hunter specializes in hunting creatures of the night. Reminds me of a character in an anime. but he doesn't hunt shadows. Here we have just the Werewolf Classic. Werewolf in the classic pose, howling at the moon. Nothing special about it. So like that's what I said with Epic. Like you get very characterful things from them, and you get some generic useful things as well. So bringing us up to our total of 93 models, we have a Werewolf Beast King. Werewolf adventurer that killed so many ferocious beasts. He is called the Beast King. Next up, we have Highlands Miniatures, which is a favorite of mine. I love what they do. I think they have very good work. I like the rank and file. This is Sunland. This is one of their factions, Sunland. And Sunland is reinforcement this month. So here we have some, I believe they're called Landsknights. I'm mispronouncing that horribly, and I apologize to Highland. But here we have those printed off. Here we have the Sunland Cavalry. You get 5 of the cavalry, you get 3 with the command group, and of course you get 4 horses. We have a Sunland altar on wagon, and if you look to the left, you'll see the priest is standing at the back, preaching out. We have a ironclad land ship. I wonder who's driving that. And then we have a Sunland volley gun, a rocket launcher, and a mortar, along with the crew to man all of these. And Sunland has now been reinforced. The printing goes ever on, continues to go ever on. This month we're going to Tales of the Northern Kingdom, Volume 2. Now, I did not look up the specific names of these, but you can see we have some spirits, Nazgul, or Dark Knight, some terrain, I believe there's a gargoyle. Notice these figures come with a cavalry option and without on foot as well. We have some, I believe these are trolls. Very different looking trolls. The North has not been kind to them. And we have some skeletons as well. And there's some variations on those as well, I believe. Next up, we have STL Miniatures, and Raphael always does a great job with these as well. Here we have the Elf Camp Set, as well as another camp set with orcs as well. The thing I really like to look about with STL Miniatures, I'm not exactly sure where this is fitting in. I think I missed something when I was putting this together, and it's kind of late for me to go back and look at this now. But is I want to point out the detail of the terrain and the miniatures that they do as well. Like even this character, look at the fingernails, look at the stitching. I want to take a moment and point out that they have a quest fantasy that they have just put out, and I think these are the first 4 adventurers for that quest fantasy. They're apparently getting lots of good results from that, so do check that out. They always like to do a little welcome pack, and their welcome pack changes up. I'm not sure I don't think it's every month, I think it's every few months. But right now we have the Human Empire and Lust Daemons are some of the welcome pack. So if you need some other miniatures that you can print off and start playing with one-page rules, you have access to those. So you have 2 factions to start off. So it's like a free starter set, you know, if you haven't been part of their Patreon. So here we have the Shadow Stalkers, and I'm not exactly sure what these people are. I think they're some sort of like blind lizards. If you look, they all have tails. And they come in multiple varieties. They don't seem to have eyes, or if they do have eyes, they're all covered up. Very unique characters. It's a slightly different approach. So we see that going on here. We have, again, these creatures. Again, I'm kind of getting that Stranger Things vibe, even though that was, you know, I think Epic Miniatures and not this. So kind of similar figures, I thought. Probably shouldn't say that, but yeah, very interesting figures. Again, I don't have the names for each one of these, and maybe I should take more time and look that up and include that. Let me know in the comments if I should. One-page rules also always likes to make sure you have a measuring device. pertinent to the faction, some specific scatter objectives, and some dice that fit that as well. And then of course some bases, square, rectangle, ellipses, and circles, all the different bases. They also provide you with a little bit of terrain. I do believe their terrain is intended to be printed on resin and not FDM, and it fits with what they have. So that's all the fantasy Patreons and tribes that I have for this month. If I've missed anything, or if there's a tribe that you're like, why did you leave these people out, comment below, let me know. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon. I'm hoping to try to go back and do a July preview before the week is out. Have a great one. Thanks for watching.